A live look outside of the White House right now, where we are tracking several developing stories. President Trump teasing a special announcement regarding Russia as soon as tomorrow, and apparent dissension among key Washington officials over the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. Reports of top FBI officials contemplating their future at the agency. And Trump's old friend turned foe, Elon Musk, is weighing in. NewsNation's Libbey Dean live at the White House. Libby, what are we hearing tonight?
Natasha, we just heard from President Trump, and he's returning here to the White House tonight with conflicts he's trying to solve both overseas and then conflicts within his own administration, as we see the Epstein case come in full focus as President Trump spent his Saturday night defending his Attorney General Pam Bondi. We saw them together today at the FIFA World Cup, and he's now spending his Sunday night voicing support for FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. I want us to take a listen to what the president had to say.
I spoke to him today. Dan Bongino, very good guy. I've known him a long time. I've done his show many, many times, and he sounded terrific, actually. No, I think he's in good shape.
Comes as Bondi and the FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino were reported to have this massive argument over the handling of the Epstein case, with Bongino even going on to threaten that he might leave his post within the Trump administration as FBI Deputy Director. That was according to a source who told NewsNation that. And this is interesting. Now we hear from President Trump that he's spoken with Bongino, and things seem to be in the clear for now. Natasha?
Yeah, and Libby, amidst all of this, President Trump also teasing an announcement regarding Russia as soon as tomorrow. And in just the last hour, we hear him airing some major grievances with Putin. What are we learning about that?
Certainly, President Trump voicing that frustration with Putin yet again. This is a continuous frustration that he has echoed, but he's expecting to make this major announcement relating to Russia tomorrow. Now, the details, they are slim, but we have heard from Senator Lindsey Graham. He suggested this announcement from President Trump could be a turning point in this conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The president was asked about that announcement, didn't provide a lot of details, did talk about the weapons that the U.S. is going to sell to NATO, who would then supply them, or the EU, who would then supply them to Ukraine, including those Patriot defense systems, something we've been tracking over the last week if the U.S. was going to be providing that. I want us to take a listen to what the president is saying ahead of that announcement.
But I am very disappointed with President Putin. You know, I thought he was somebody that meant what he said, and he'll talk so beautifully, and then he'll bomb people at night. We don't like that.
Incredible frustration from President Trump there, but we also saw him recently sign off on more defensive weapons for Ukraine, and then they announced this plan to sell U.S. weapons to NATO that could then be provided to Ukraine for additional defense. That is something the president also spoke about as well. Another thing we're tracking, Secretary General Mark Rutte. He'll be here in Washington this week. He'll be here Monday and Tuesday. Tomorrow, he will meet with President Trump, and then we're expecting him to meet as well with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, as well as these plans that we know in Washington to meet with the president as well. So a lot of high-profile meetings with the NATO Secretary General, the first up being with President Trump tomorrow. Natasha.
Yeah, I appreciate you tracking that. Libbey Dean, live at the White House. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.